The courtroom air hangs thick, like the moment before a storm breaks. I'm standing there, heart pounding against my ribs like it's trying to escape. My palms slick with sweat that I wipe discreetly on my skirt. The judge, stern, unyielding, his gavel like a judge's hammer of fate, leans forward, eyes narrowing behind those wire-rimmed glasses. My father, across the aisle, smirks that smug, oil-slick grin of his, the one that's won him boardrooms and broken families alike. He's demanding everything. Mom's house, her savings, the vintage locket she wore on our last beach trip. "It's all mine by right," he'd snarled earlier, his voice dripping venom. But then I lean in, close enough to smell the judge's aftershave, sharp, like pine and regret, and whisper those two words. Just two. Simple. Devastating. The judge's face drains of color, pale as death. His hand freezes mid-note, pen hovering like it's forgotten how to write. The room tilts into silence, broken only by my father's confused scoff. And in that heartbeat, everything I've buried for years, the lies, the shadows, the ache in my chest that never quite healed, starts to unravel. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. If you've ever felt that burn of betrayal twisting in your gut, the kind that keeps you up at night plotting what-ifs, stick around, because what happens next? It's the revenge you didn't know you needed. The justice that hits like a freight train. Hey, legends. If you've ever stared down someone who thought they could bury you and wondered, what if I rose up and took it all back? Then this one's for you. Smash that like button right now if justice gets your blood pumping. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a story that leaves you cheering from the rooftops. We're diving deep today into a tale of hidden sins, courtroom chaos, and a payback so sweet it'll linger like honey on your tongue. Let's roll. All right, let's rewind this nightmare to where it all started festering, like a wound you didn't know was infected until it poisoned your blood. My name's Elena, though back then, in the haze of grief, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. 34, public defender in a city that chews up dreamers and spits out cynics. My days were a blur of overworked clients, flickering fluorescent lights in holding cells that smelled of desperation and stale coffee, and that constant, gnawing hollow in my chest where Mom used to be. She'd passed 6 months earlier. Isabella Voss. Isabella to her friends, Mom to me, a force of nature wrapped in soft cardigans and laughter that could chase storms away. Cancer took her quick, like it was in a hurry to steal the light from the world. Stage 4, they said. But she'd fought like hell, her hands trembling as she gripped mine in the hospital bed, the beeps of machines a cruel metronome to our goodbyes. "Fight for what's yours, kiddo," she'd whispered, her breath ragged, eyes fierce even as the morphine pulled her under. "Don't let him twist it. Him, my father. Victor Hale, no relation to Mom's name, thank God, because I'd have burned that off me like a bad tattoo years ago. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that silver fox hair he cultivated like a weapon, always perfectly coiffed, always paired with a suit that screamed, "I own this room." He was the kind of man who shook hands like he was sealing souls, a high-powered attorney who'd clawed his way from a nothing-town trailer park to corner offices overlooking the bay. But behind the charm, a viper, calculating, always 3 steps ahead, or so he thought. Our family? What a joke. It splintered when I was 12. Mom caught him, red-handed, lipstick on his collar that wasn't hers, whispers in hotel lobbies that echoed like gunshots in our quiet suburb. Divorce was ugly. Screaming matches over dinner tables where the plates shattered like our illusions. Custody battles that left me shuttling between homes like a ping-pong ball. He got weekends and holidays, painted himself the fun dad with amusement parks and ice cream bribes, but it was all surface. Mom raised me solo, her nurse's scrubs stained with night shifts, her hugs the only anchor in the storm. I idolized her. Learned from her. Empathy, grit, the quiet power of standing your ground. Law school? Her dream passed to me like a baton. I chose public defense because, hell, someone had to fight for the underdogs. The ones the victors of the world steamrolled. Irony? He laughed when I told him. Defending losers, Elena? You'll end up broke and bitter. His words landed like slaps, but I swallowed them, built walls higher than his ego. Fast forward to the probate hearing. Mom's will was straightforward. the modest craftsman house in the hills, our sanctuary, with its creaky porch swing and wild rose garden, split between me and a trust for family legacies. Her savings, a tidy $250,000 from years of frugality, earmarked for my education fund, ironic since I'd already graduated. And that locket, gold with an engraving inside. To my fierce girl, love eternal, I. Nothing extravagant, but it was hers, ours. Dad? He contested it all, filed motions like daggers, claiming undue influence from Mom's fragile state. Bull. He'd swooped in post-funeral, all condolences and crocodile tears at the graveside, then lawyered up to gut her legacy. She owed me, he'd hissed over the phone one night, his voice gravelly from scotch. After everything I provided. Provided? He meant the alimony checks he dodged like taxes, the child support that vanished into his investments. The first hearing was a circus. County courthouse, that behemoth of marble and echoes, where justice feels like a slot machine. Pull the lever, hope for cherries. I walked in solo, no fancy firm behind me, just my public defender grit and a briefcase full of Mom's notarized docs. The air hummed with the low buzz of fluorescence, the shuffle of papers like dry leaves in wind. Benches groaned under fidgeting souls, a guy in cuffs, his lawyer whispering frantic nothings, a mom clutching tissues, eyes red-rimmed, and there he was, front row, flanked by his shark, some associate from his firm, all gelled hair and gold cufflinks. Dad caught my eye, that smirk curling like smoke. "This'll be quick, sweetheart," he mouthed, leaning back as if the seat were a throne. Sweetheart. The word twisted in my gut, hot acid rising. I wanted to lunge, to claw that condescension from his face, but I breathed deep, tasting the stale courtroom dust, and sat straight. For Mom. The judge called the docket, Harold Grayson, mid-60s, hawkish nose, reputation for rubber stamping the powerful. His robe swished like whispers as he settled, gavel cracking once, sharp, final. Matter of Voss estate. Counsel? His associate stood all polish. Your Honor, my client, Victor Hale, moves to dismiss the will's validity. The decedent was coerced. Coerced! I shot up, voice steady but edged like a blade. Objection. That's baseless slander. Heads turned, murmurs rippling. Dad's eyes narrowed, surprise flickering before the mask snapped back. Grayson peered over his glasses, irritation creasing his brow. Ms. Hale, Voss, I corrected, chin lifting. Mom's name, my armor. Elena Voss, pro se. A chuckle from Dad's side, low and mocking. Grayson's lips thinned. Pro se and probate? This isn't traffic court, counselor. Get a real attorney or we'll adjourn. Adjourn. The word hit like a gut punch. Delay meant fees piling, his sharks circling. My throat tightened, vision blurring. Not tears, no, but the sting of underestimation. That familiar powerlessness coiling in my chest like barbed wire. I'd prepped for weeks. Timelines, witnesses, Mom's lucid videos from chemo days, her voice frail but firm. Victor's not getting a dime. It's Elena's. But here, dismissed. Like me. I gripped the bar rail, knuckles whitening, the cool wood grounding me. Your Honor, I said, softer now, but laced with steel. If the court adjourns without hearing evidence, you're not just delaying justice, you're enabling fraud. Gasps. His associate sputtered. Dad leaned forward, face darkening. Grayson's eyes locked on mine, a storm brewing. Fraud? That's a heavy accusation, Ms. Voss. Care to elaborate? The room held its breath. My pulse thundered in my ears, a war drum. Elaborate? I could spill it all. The skimmed assets, the forged signatures I'd suspected but couldn't prove. But proof? That's what public defenders chase like ghosts. Instead, I met his gaze, unflinching. Not here, not yet, but if you adjourn, you'll regret burying this. Regret. The word hung, electric. His jaw ticked, a vein pulsing at his temple. For a split second, something flashed in his eyes. Not anger, but recognition? Dread? Then the gavel slammed. Adjourned. 2 weeks. The echo reverberated as I sank into my seat, chest heaving. Dad rose, clapping slowly, mocking applause that scraped my nerves raw. "Nice try, kid," he murmured, passing close enough for his cologne to choke me, heavy and cloying like deceit. "But blood's thicker. You'll see. Blood. The lie of it burned." I watched him saunter out, shoulders squared, victory in his stride. Alone in the emptying hall, the fluorescent hum mocking me, I pressed my forehead to the cool marble wall, breath shuddering, powerless. Again. That 12-year-old girl, hiding under blankets as shouts rattled the doors, surfaced, small, scared, fists clenched against the unfair. But Mom's voice echoed, "Fight." I fought my way to the parking lot, keys biting into my palm, the October sun slanting low and golden through chain-link fences. My beat-up Civic waited, faithful relic with its dented fender from that fender-bender freshman year. Mom's fault, her laugh lines crinkling as she blamed the squirrel invasion. I slid in, engine coughing to life, radio crackling some old jazz tune she loved. Tears came then, hot tracks down my cheeks, blurring the windshield. Why him? Why always him, twisting love into leverage? The drive home blurred, suburbs giving way to the city sprawl, horns blaring like accusations. My apartment, tiny third-floor walk-up with peeling wallpaper and a view of the Alley Cat's Midnight Symphony, was sanctuary. I dumped my bag, kicked off heels that pinched like regrets, and poured a glass of Merlot, the glug-glug a small rebellion. Curled on the couch, locket in hand, cool metal against fevered skin, I traced the engraving. "Fierce girl? Yeah, that's when the phone rang. Unknown number, 555 prefix. Local, but not in my contacts. I almost let it voicemail, but something, call it gut, call it ghosts, made me answer. Voss. Silence first, then a breath, ragged like wind through cracks. "Elena? It's Lydia. Lydia Grant. Lydia." The name tugged, fuzzy at the edges. Mom's old nursing colleague? No. Deeper. A shadow from stories half told. Bedtime whispers when Dad was late again. The friend from the agency, Mom would say, voice dropping, eyes distant. "Before you, sweetheart. Complicated times, Lydia?" I sat up, wine sloshing. "How did your mother's probate. I saw the notices. Victor's pushing, isn't he?" Her voice cracked. "Old. 70 if a day. Gravel wrapped in smoke." "We need to talk, now. There's things you don't know. About her. About him. About why I vanished. The word hooked deep. What things?" "Not over phone. Meet me. The diner on Elm, Blue Moon. Midnight. Come alone." Click. Line dead. My heart jackhammered. Phone hot in my grip. Midnight, cloak and dagger bullshit. But the ache in my chest shifted. Not just grief, but curiosity. Sharp as a scalpel. Mom's hidden past. Dad's shadows. I glanced at the clock. 8:47 p.m. Enough time to pace. To war with myself in the mirror. Dark circles under eyes like bruises. Hair a wild halo. Who was I kidding? I was going. The Blue Moon diner glowed like a beacon in the rain-slicked night. Neon flickering "eat" in red cursive that bled into puddles. I parked under a street lamp's hazy pool, wipers thumping a nervous rhythm. Inside, vinyl booths cracked like old skin, the sizzle of grease from the grill, coffee's bitter tang cutting the air. A lone waitress, peroxide curls and weary smile, nodded as I slid into a corner booth, the vinyl sighing under me. Midnight came with a chime, door swinging, bell tinkling like fairy dust gone wrong. She was there. Slight, hunched in a trench coat too big for her frame, gray hair pinned in a loose bun, eyes like chipped jade. Wary, wise, wounded. Lydia Grant. She slid opposite, hands trembling as she lit a cigarette, flame-dancing shadows across wrinkles etched deep. "You look like her," she said, exhale curling smoke between us. Isabella's fire in those eyes. I leaned forward, elbows on formica sticky with ghosts of syrups past. "You said things I don't know. Start talking." She stubbed the cig half-smoked, ash crumbling like trust. 40 years ago. We were young, nurses at St. Mary's but moonlighting. Side gigs for extra cash. Protests were raging. Vietnam, civil rights. Your mom, she had heart. Joined a group, underground, feeding info to journalists, dodging feds. Harmless, she thought. Idealism, my breath caught. Mom? Protests? The woman who baked apple pies and volunteered at soup kitchens. Her activism limited to bake sale fundraisers. She never lied to protect you. Lydia's gaze dropped, fingers twisting a napkin to shreds. Then Victor, charming bastard, law student, interning at the firm that handled sensitive cases. He spotted her at a rally. Spark flew, or so he sold it. But he was playing angles. Fed her lines about justice, got close. Too close. The waitress refilled my coffee unasked, steam rising like questions. I sipped, scalding my tongue. Punishment for listening. What angles? Feds, surveillance, your dad's firm? Front for COINTELPRO ops. Blackmailing activists, planting evidence. He turned her. Not willingly. Threats, her job, our freedom. She fed them scraps, names, meeting spots to keep us safe. But it broke her. Broke us. Broke her. The words landed heavy. A stone in still water. Ripples chilling my skin. I saw it then. Mom's late-night stares out windows, curtains twitching at shadows, the way she'd flinch at sirens, masking it with a joke. And you? Her handler's wife. Knew too much. When she got pregnant, you, Victor, panicked. Pushed her to marry, to legitimize. But the cover-up? Deeper. He buried files, payoffs to silence witnesses. I fled after a raid. Faked my death. Started over in witness protection scraps. Isabella stayed, thinking love could fix it. Love. The myth we'd clung to. My nails dug crescents into palms, pain grounding the spin. He blackmailed her? Our whole life, a lie built on fear. Lydia slid an envelope across, yellowed, sealed with wax long cracked. Read this. Her journal. Hid it from him. Clues to the accounts. The real ones. Offshore. Seeded from guilt money he funneled back. But careful, girl. He's watching. Always watching. Paranoia prickled, neck hairs rising. I pocketed it, the paper crinkling like dry bones. Why now? Because that will? It's not just house and cash. It's leverage. Exposes him. The judge, Grayson? He's in it. Old firm ties. Adjourn to buy time, bury it deeper. Grayson. The flash in his eyes. Not dread, guilt. The pieces slotted, jagged and cold. Dad's smirk? A mask for cornered rats. I stood, legs unsteady, rain pattering the window like impatient fingers. Thank you. For this. For her. She nodded, eyes glistening. Fight fierce, Elena. For Isabella. Outside, rain lashed my face, cold needles shocking clarity. The drive home was a blur of wipers and wails, mine, silent but shattering. Betrayal wasn't just the divorce. It was the foundation, rotten through. Mom's pain, my childhood's cracks, all his design. Powerlessness, no more. The hollow in my chest ignited. Rage, yes, but resolve, burning bright. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, as I pored over the journal by lamplight. Mom's script, looping elegant, entries from 85, coded phrases, V's shadow lingers, eagle eyes on the nest, clues to accounts, Swiss numbers, passcodes woven in recipes, and photos, grainy, her younger self arm in arm with Lydia at marches. Signs high, end the war machine. Then Victor, suit crisp, hand possessive on her waist, eyes scanning crowds like a hawk. By noon, I'd lawyered up, not fancy, but a probate specialist from my PD network, Mira Chen, sharp as obsidian. This is dynamite, she murmured over burner coffee in her cluttered office, papers avalanche waiting. Federal implications. We loop in feds? Not yet. My voice was gravel, determined. Court first. Then the shadows. The 2 weeks blurred into a frenzy. Depositions dodged, his shark circling with discovery demands that screamed intimidation. Dad called twice, first oily sweet. Come to your senses, Elena. We can settle family style. I hung up mid-sentence. His laugh cut off like a throat slit. Second, rage, slurred. You're digging your grave, girl. Drop it. Click. Fear? A flicker. But the journal's weight in my purse steeled me. Escalation hit midweek. Anonymous email. Grainy photo of me at the diner. Time-stamped. Back off or join the ghosts. My stomach lurched, bile rising. Blackmail, his signature. I forwarded to Mira, who looped cyber forensics buddy. Trace? Burner IP, but laced with old firm markers. Victor. The man who'd taught me chess as a kid, only to checkmate with real knives. Nights? Sleepless symphonies. Tossing on sheets twisted like thoughts. Replaying Mom's hospital whisper, Lydia's smoke-worn warning. Internal storm. He's your father. Blood. But blood? Poisoned. He underestimated you, the soft defender. I'd show him soft, like a blade's edge. Turning point came Friday, rain hammering my window like judgment. Mira burst in, soaked, eyes wild. Got it. Offshore docks. 2.4 million, not 250K. Laundered through his firm guilt slush fund. And Grayson's signature, on the cover letters, 85. The room spun. Millions? Mom's savings? No. Reparations, buried amends. And Grayson, complicit. The flash in court. Not guilt, but the hook sinking deeper. Resolve crystallized, cold and clear. No more adjournments. No more whispers in the dark. Tomorrow's hearing? My checkmate. I prepped till dawn. Timeline boards pinned like battle maps. Witness lists. Lydia, reluctant but willing via video. A retired Fed whistleblower Mira dug up. The locket around my neck, warm against skin. Mom's heartbeat echo. Fierce girl. Damn right. Court day dawned crisp. Autumn leaves skittering like fleeing secrets. I dressed for war. Tailored black suit. Hair pulled severe. Heels clicking resolve on marble floors. The hall buzzed thicker. Reporters sniffing blood. Word leaked? Dad waited inside, tie askew, eyes bloodshot. Scotch shadows. His associate fidgeted, papers askew. Grayson entered last, robe heavy, face a thundercloud. Docket. Voss estate, he barked. Gavel a gunshot. Motions? His side first. More bluster. New evidence of Mom's instability. Lies shredded by my cross, snappy, surgical. Witness recants. Or bought. The associate flushed, stammering. My turn. Mira co-counseled, but I led. Your Honor, we moved to dismiss contestation. Evidence of fraud. Systemic. Gasps. I laid it out. Timelines. Docs projected on screen. Swiss transfers. Signatures matching his. Dad's face? Ashen, smirk crumbling to snarl. Lies. She's deranged. Silence. Grayson snapped, but his voice wavered, eyes darting to the bench's edge, where his water glass trembled. Tension coiled, air electric, breaths held like hostages. Reporters scribbled furious, flashes popping like distant thunder. I felt it. The build, the audience. Yes, even here, souls hooked on the drama. Sympathy? In their nods, the way the bailiff leaned in. Betrayal's universality. Who'd not felt the knife from kin? Then the break. His associate called recess, whispering frantic to Dad. Chambers. Grayson rose, abrupt. Sidebar now. Back room. Dim leather chairs creaking under weight. Grayson paced, sweat beading on brow. What the hell is this, Voss? You think you can... think? I stepped close, voice low thunder. I know. COINTELPRO. Blackmail. Your sign on the payoffs. Mom's journal. Page 47. Your initials next to Silence Fund. He froze, color fleeing like rats from light. Mira flanked, recorder subtle in pocket. Federal judge. Obstruction on top. Dad burst in then, uninvited, fury incarnate. You little... this is family. Back off! Family. The word snapped something. I turned slow, meeting his blaze with ice. Family? You blackmailed her into silence. Turned her life to ash for your ladder. And now? You think a smirk steals her soul? His fist clenched, veins bulging. I built everything, you? Nothing without me, nothing. The underestimation, the disrespect. It ignited. But not rage-blind, calculated. I leaned to Grayson, breath ghosting his ear, deep throat. 2 words. Simple. From Mom's journal, code for the whistleblower network. But laced deeper, his alias in the files, the FedOps linchpin. Grayson's up, the one that could have toppled rings, but he buried for promotion. Pale. Utterly. His knees buckled, hand gripping the table, wood groaning protest. How? Whisper, choked. Dad lunged. What did you say? But Grayson waved him off, face a mass cracking. Out, all of you. Hearing resumes, full disclosure, now. The room outside erupted as we filed back, murmurs to roar, Grayson slamming gavel for order. Testimony flew, Lydia's video, voice steady. Victor Hale, Operative Viper, Isabella's handler. The whistleblower, remote, files confirm, blackmail logs, your father's sign-off, judge. Dad's empire crumbled live, face twisting from denial to dawning horror, mouth agape like a fish on dry dock. This is forgery! But his voice cracked, hollow. I watched, chest tight. Not triumph yet, but the uncoiling of chains. Power restored inch by inch. The audience, reporters, clerks, even the chained guy in back, leaned in, hooked on the fairness unfolding. Betrayal's sting? Universal justice! The balm. Escalation peaked. Feds called mid-hearing, badges flashing like stars. Mr. Hale, you're under... Cuffs clicked, cold finality. He thrashed, eyes locking mine. Not fatherly, but feral. You bitch. You'll regret. Regret? I stood, voice carrying, steady as Mom's last breath. That's your legacy. Not mine. Grayson adjourned sign die, face ashen, resignation papers whispered by noon. The will? Upheld, millions flowing, Mom's true legacy, clean. But the revenge, deeper than dollars. It was the shadows fleeing, light piercing the lie. Let's linger here, because this, the heart punch moment, deserves the slow burn. Courtroom now a cauldron, air thick with sweat and shock, the wooden benches groaning as bodies shift, eyes wide like witnesses to apocalypse. Fed swarm, 2 suits grim as reapers, badges glinting under the remorseless fluorescence. Victor Hale, you're under arrest for conspiracy, obstruction, and historical RICO violations tied to COINTELPRO operations. The words hang, heavy as manacles. He stumbles back, chair scraping like nails on sole, shrill, echoing in the vaulted ceiling. His face, a masterpiece of collapse. That silver hair disheveled, sweat carving rivers down temples, eyes bulging not with tears but trapped animal fury. Arrest, this is a joke, I know senators. Call. Save it, the lead fed growls, cuff clicking first wrist, cold steel biting flesh, a sound like fate locking in. Dad jerks, suit jacket ripping at the seam, tie askew like a noose half-tied. Elena, tell them, family. Blood, blood again. The word twists, but now it's ash on my tongue. I rise slow, deliberate, heels echoing authority as I approach the bar. The room holds breath collective, reporters' pens frozen mid-scribble, the bailiff's hand hovering gavel ward. Even the judge, Grayson, slumped, whispering to his clerk, face a ruin of resignation, watching like a man eyeing his own grave. I stop inches from the fray, close enough to smell Dad's fear sweat, acrid under the cologne mask. His eyes meet mine, pleading now, the viper coiled small. Please, I did it for us, protection. Us? My voice carries soft but slicing, every ear strains. You blackmailed Mom into a cage, turned her dreams to dust for your throne, and me, the nothing daughter you mocked. The words land punches, his flinch, the subtle lean in from the gallery, sympathy waves crashing. Universally, who hasn't tasted that dismissal? The underestimation that carves hollows? The Fed yanks him toward the door, but he twists, voice cracking raw. I built empires. You think you'll win? I'll bury you in appeals. No. One word mine, thunder and quiet. I lean in, mirror to my earlier whisper, breath ghosting his ear, intimate as betrayal. Deep throat. Again. But now for him. The code's full weight, his buried alias, the op he greenlit, the lives he twisted, including hers. Comprehension dawns. Horror pure. Pupils dilating black. His mouth works fish silent, color fleeing to gray. How? Choke, gasp, the big man shrinking, shoulders hunching as if the walls close in. The Fed hauls him out, doors swinging with finality, thud echoing like heart stop. Silence descends, profound, broken only by a reporter's gasp, then applause, sporadic, then swelling, the underdogs cheering their ghost. Me? I sink to the bench, knees jelly but chest. Oh, the release. Not fireworks, but a dam breaking. Tears hot, silent, tracing paths of grief long dammed. Relief floods, cool, cleansing, washing the hollow clean. Triumph? Quiet, bone-deep, validation, mom's fierce girl proven. The locket warms against skin, her whisper real now. You did it. Grayson approaches then, voice gravel. Ms. Voss. I'm stepping down. Feds have my statement. His hand extends. Not for shake, but papers. His recusal, the will unsealed. Millions, yes, but justice. Priceless. Outside, rain cleared to sun. Ironic. Golden. Reporters swarm, mics thrusting like spears. Ms. Voss, what sparked this? I pause, wind tousling hair, tasting salt and freedom. Truth. Overdue. Dad's empire? Crumbled by dusk. Firm rated. Headlines screaming. Legal titan falls. Blackmail ring exposed. Calls flooded. Old colleagues stunned. His friends scattering like roaches. And me? The payoff lingered. Not just the win, but the unburdening. Betrayal's weight lifted, leaving space for healing, for mom's roses to bloom unchecked. Man, stories like this, they remind us karma's got a long memory and sharper teeth than we think. Justice isn't always swift, but when it lands, especially against the ones who should protect you, it mends something fundamental. What's your take? Does blood excuse the blade, or demand sharper reckoning? Ponder that. Who? If that whisper gave you goosebumps or had you fist-pumping the air, do me a solid. Smash like if revenge served cold as your jam. Drop a comment below. What's the sweetest payback you've pulled off or witnessed? Spill the tea, I read 'em all. And hey, subscribe for weekly dives into Reddit's wildest tales of triumph over tyrants. Hit that bell, 'cause you won't want to miss the next bombshell. Thanks for riding this roller coaster with me. See you in the next one. Peace.